Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Absolute Resonance Part 10 based on novel. So let's start. Zhuang Yi and a column of his men had ferociously busted into the first-grade refining workshop, instantly causing the atmosphere to become tense. Surprised gazes were cast in their direction. Yang Lingqing had also noticed their entry. Her face downcast, she icily demanded, "Vice President Zhuang Yi, how can you act so rudely?" Zhuang Yi's face was full of smiles as he replied, "Vice President Yang, there is no need to be agitated. I'm here for the issue we raised previously. Ever since the first-grade refining workshop was placed under your command, the amount of spirit liquids and purifying lights produced have decreased. Furthermore, there have been numerous pieces that are not up to par. This has severely affected the Sun Creek Villa's business." Zhuang Yi looked deeply worried and even sick at heart at this point. Yang Lingqing coldly retorted, "A reduction in production? Aren't you most clear on why this is the case? If you had not reduced the amount of materials provided, how could this have happened? Vice President Yang, you are slandering my good name. We have been lacking materials recently. How could I just create more from nothing? Even though Vice President Yang is from the Astral Sage College, you might be lacking some experience and your guidance might not be appropriate for the Sun Creek Villa's first-grade resonance artificers. Your pointers might instead mislead them," Zhuang Yi said with a frown on his face. No one dared to interfere in this war of words within the first-grade refining workshop. Everyone understood that this was an open battle between the two vice presidents, and anyone who dared speak out of turn would inevitably be turned into dust by the aftershocks. Zhuang Yi continued to stare at Yang Lingqing. "Vice President Yang, as resonance artificers, we should use results to back our words. You've already been in control of the first-grade refining workshop for quite some time, but the results clearly haven't been exemplary. The first-grade resonance artificers you have guided are only able to produce first-grade spirit liquids and purifying lights that barely exceed 50% tempering strength. On the other hand, my disciple, Xia, is already able to refine a 56% tempering strength azure jade spirit liquid. You have to know that the minimum requirement for the Sun Creek Villa's first-grade spirit liquids and purifying lights is 53% tempering strength. Thus, Vice President Yang should act for the good of the Sun Creek Villa. I'd recommend you hand the first-grade refining workshop over to me, otherwise, if things proceed this way, our first-grade spirit liquids and purifying lights might no longer have a market in the Qianshu province." After speaking, Zhuang Yi turned to face a few of the higher-ups of this branch of the Sun Creek Villa. "Don't you feel that what I'm saying makes sense?" These higher-ups remained deep in thought. Even though they did not wish to involve themselves in this scuffle between the two, Zhuang Yi's words made a lot of sense, and as an organization, only results mattered. If Zhuang Yi's disciple was able to reliably produce 56% tempering strength spirit liquids and purifying lights, this would indeed be beneficial to all. Hence, some of the higher-ups reluctantly spoke out. "Vice President Yang, why don't you let Xia manage the first-grade refining workshop? This way, you can focus on the second-grade refining workshop. Furthermore, this is our Sun Creek Villa's most important product." Yang Lingqing was emotionless. If she truly gave way here, this would mean that she had lost in the battle against Zhuang Yi and would clearly indicate that the direction of the winds would blow against her. Gradually, she would be forced back more and more. However, if she did not take a step back here, with how aggressive Zhuang Yi was and with the voice of reason on his side, this would also cause a negative blowback on her end. Thus it truly seemed as though she was stuck between a rock and a hard place. Zhuang Yi stared with interest at the clearly conflicted Yang Lingqing, a smirk gradually forming on his face. So what if she was a genius of the Astral Sage College, was she not still tender and fresh-faced? Why? At this point in time, as the pressure on Yang Lingqing was multiplying, the tense atmosphere was shattered by a blue light exploding forth from a specific refining compartment. This sudden change of events caused everyone some degree of astonishment. Everyone turned around, only to see a certain Li Luo grasping a bottle filled with an azure liquid and an expression full of glee. This was the first successful spirit liquid he had ever produced, and it had been refined under such tenuous circumstances. After refining this bottle of azure jade spirit liquid, Li Luo drew out a tempering measurement needle and tested it. Surprisingly, he saw the measurement scale on the needle swiftly climb upwards. Ultimately, the needle stopped at the 60% tempering strength mark. Hua! When all of the first-grade resonance artificers saw this sight, they couldn't help exclaiming in shock. One after another, everyone rushed forward to take a look. 60% tempering strength? The spirit liquid that the young lord refined has a tempering strength of 60%. How can this be possible? The first-grade refining workshop was filled with cries of disbelief and terror. No one could understand how this was possible, and all the attention that had been focused on the battle between Zhuang Yi and Yang Lingqing dissipated. Everyone rushed towards Li Luo to take a closer look. After everyone had a chance to lay eyes on the tempering measurement needle scale, there was a deathly silence. All of their shocked gazes were directed at the smug Li Luo. They were well aware that he had been learning resonance artificering arts for no more than 2 weeks. Within such a short span of time, he had managed to not only produce a first-grade spirit liquid, but also produce one with such terrifying tempering strength. Was this truly what one called a blessed genius of the heavens? Make way! Yang Lingqing's voice caused the group to disperse quickly as she strode over with her long, slender legs. Her alluring gaze was purely focused on the azure jade spirit liquid in Li Luo's hand. "Let me take a look," she instructed. Li Luo naturally made way and passed the crystal bottle over. Yang Lingqing then quickly poured out a drop of the azure jade spirit liquid to check it personally. Her face seemed a little moved at this sight. This azure jade spirit liquid has unmatched purity. It's clearly able to reach the point of 60% tempering strength. She then shifted her focus onto Li Luo. She never would have expected Li Luo to also be a true genius at resonance artificering. This was also his first attempt. Recalling the first time she refined azure jade spirit liquid, the finished product only had 57% tempering strength, which clearly wasn't a bad result. At this point, she seemed to think of something, and a cunning smile appeared on her cold face. She grabbed the bottle containing the azure jade spirit liquid and turned around, looking at the equally surprised Zhuang Yi. "Vice President Zhuang Yi, I don't believe I will hand over the reins at the first-grade refining workshop just yet." Zhuang Yi's face turned incomparably dark as he scowled at the bottle of spirit liquid. He had clearly heard everyone's exclamations. This brat Li Luo had managed to refine a 60% tempering strength spirit liquid. If he or Yang Lingqing, 4th-grade resonance artificers, were to take action personally, the first-grade azure jade spirit liquid would likely only reach the 65% tempering strength mark. Based on his memory, he had not personally refined a first-grade spirit liquid or purifying light in numerous years, as such a task was a waste of his time. It was inefficient to do so, and it would fetch perhaps only tens of sky gold. This was the first time he had heard of someone managing to create a spirit liquid with a 60% tempering strength on their first try. His disciple, Xia, had spent an entire year polishing his craft before managing to reach a tempering strength of 56%. The difference between the two was like comparing mud to the clouds. Zhuang Yi's mouth twitched a bit before he stiffly answered, "Vice President Yang, did you perhaps utilize some underhanded means? The young lord here has barely touched upon the realm of resonance artificering. As I recall, he only started 2 weeks ago." Yang Lingqing indifferently glanced at him. "I'm sure everyone here observed the young lord personally refining this. Your excuse seems a little too shameless, no? Perhaps you'd like the young lord to personally demonstrate his skill to you." There were numerous individuals around who nodded in agreement. They had clearly seen Li Luo personally refining this spirit liquid. Zhuang Yi's expression stiffened further as he forced himself to dryly laugh. I wouldn't dare. Although he did not respect Li Luo in his heart, this was still the young lord. How could he dare to take him lightly in front of everyone? "Vice President Zhuang Yi, if I were to refine a first-grade spirit liquid with an even higher tempering strength, do you think that would give me the right to be the supervisor of the first-grade refining workshop?" Li Luo smiled as he dealt yet another blow to Zhuang Yi. Zhuang Yi gave a ridiculing smile. We would have to defer to Vice President Yang's opinion on this. He also understood that today's attempt had resulted in a disastrous failure. Thus, he quickly gave some conciliatory words before turning around to leave quickly with a depressed expression on his face. The atmosphere finally cooled down in the first-grade refining workshop. Following which, numerous congratulatory words came in from all around and everyone began to look at Li Luo with newfound envy and fervor. Li Luo gladly accepted the compliments before swiftly rushing off to continue his practice. A certain alluring gaze continued to focus on Li Luo as he made his way. Who would have thought that his first attempt would result in a spirit liquid with such high tempering strength? It looks like you are truly a genius when it comes to resonance artificering. At the Astral Sage College, Yang Lingqing had seen numerous geniuses, but this was the first time she had seen someone with so much natural talent. What she found most unexpected was that Li Luo's water resonance was only at the 5th grade, so what did that mean? This meant that Li Luo possessed a natural affinity and sensitivity towards fusing and harmonizing the characteristics of these materials. This was something innate, and only certain geniuses in the Resonance Tempering Hall of the Astral Sage College possessed such ability. Perhaps this was all luck as well, Li Luo wistfully suggested. If he knew how highly Yang Lingqing regarded him, he would have definitely felt extremely awkward. He truly didn't possess this so-called genius. The reason why his first spirit liquid ever had a 60% tempering strength was due to him relying on his water-light resonance's unique characteristics when it came to refining spirit liquids. When the result was produced, he noticed he had underestimated the impact the water resonance power and light resonance power had on fusing the final product. Yang Lingqing was disinterested in his thoughts. It was lucky that you were around this time. I will not bother with superfluous thanks, and the Sun Creek Villa's profits technically all go to you, so nothing more needs to be said. She immediately paused after saying all this, and a smile bloomed on her snowy face. However, my mood isn't bad. I will treat you to a meal tonight, then. Li Luo originally wanted to reject her offer as he wished to rush back home to practice his resonance arts, but upon thinking about how strict Yang Lingqing usually was, his survival instincts kicked in and he immediately gave the most radiant smile he possibly could and agreed almost instantly. Well then, nothing could please me more. Night had fallen upon the city of Southwind. Lanterns were lit up all around, heralding the hustle and bustle of nightlife as the chilly wind blew past. Your performance today wasn't bad. It truly helped me out of a pinch. Down this cup. In a winehouse facing the street, Yang Lingqing was grabbing a cup of wine and shrieking. Her usual cool and collected demeanor had turned into a rarely seen heroic and unrestrained temperament thanks to the assistance of liquid courage. Li Luo was also a little stupefied at this sudden change of events. Helpless, he could only gently clink cups and then stare in shock as Yang Lingqing downed the entire cup, which was the size of half her face, in a single breath. This way of drinking seemed to run completely contrary to Yang Lingqing's bespectacled and cold appearance. It was a complete change in personality. Similarly, numerous gazes within the winehouse had sneakily shifted towards them as Yang Lingqing truly was quite an attractive individual. Elder sister Lingqing, you don't have to say more. Ultimately, I'm just protecting my spending money, Li Luo laughed. Perhaps that might be true. But that bastard Zhuang Yi, always waving around those qualifications of his around me. I've suffered more than a few times thanks to him. I've never seen eye to eye with him. Yang Lingqing let loose. At the same time, she continued sizing Li Luo up. However, you've truly amazed me, and now I have a whole new level of respect for you. I had always thought that this young lord was just some sort of mascot. Li Luo was a little embarrassed upon hearing those words. Wasn't she being a little too honest? Not wasting any time, Yang Lingqing refilled her large cup and continued, frankly speaking, there's still a huge gap between you and Jiang Qing'e. That is to be expected, Li Luo honestly admitted. Jiang Qing'e was exceptional, so much so that even the Astral Sage College was merely another stepping stone to her. This sort of honor was something even the prince of the royal family would not be able to receive. Though I will continue to struggle and work hard. Li Luo stared at his wine cup and smiled. Yang Lingqing playfully retorted, oh? It sounds like you truly have a thing for Jiang Qing'e. Sister Qing'e's excellence does not need to be elaborated on. If I said I never had any funny ideas about her, I'm afraid even you wouldn't believe me, Li Luo said honestly. He had been with Jiang Qing'e for many years, and their relationship and feelings had naturally become more and more complex. Adding fuel to the flames was the marriage agreement, and from Li Luo's perspective, the two had become deeply intertwined. Li Luo was sure that this feeling was not exclusive to him but also extended to Jiang Qing'e. It was impossible for her to treat him as an ordinary person, and this was something that Li Luo could sense after being with her for so long. How honest. Yang Lingqing downed yet another cup of strong wine. Nodding her head, she gave a smile with a deeper meaning. If you truly have these sorts of thoughts, then you have a long way to go. You're currently still in the city of Southwind despite all this. Perhaps when you enter the Astral Sage College one day, you will realize how frightening your opponents are. Li Luo grasped his wine cup, feeling slightly dejected as he thought of how to reply. Well, I'm still Jiang Qing'e's husband-to-be. Pausing slightly, he chuckled. If anyone truly wants to harm me, they'd still have to go through Sister Qing'e. I think that when that happens, the ones who will find it most unbearable will be those opponents themselves. Yang Lingqing's beautiful pupils widened a little at this statement as she glared at Li Luo. Wait, aren't you just hiding behind your woman? Li Luo replied with conviction and sincerity, isn't it the duty of the bride to protect the groom? What's wrong with that? Huh? Yang Lingqing, who was slightly taken aback, couldn't help but exclaim, that's going too far. Immediately after, she burst into laughter as she understood Jiang Qing'e's personality best. She truly would do such a thing and treat these competitors as pieces of meat, a double blow to their ego and prestige. Li Luo smiled as he refilled her cup, the two continuing to drink. Towards the end, as he felt his head starting to spin, he noticed that Yang Lingqing had already collapsed atop the table. Li Luo could finally sigh a heave of relief. He shook Yang Lingqing gently and realized she was completely unresponsive, leaving him speechless. In the end, he lifted her up with one hand on her slender waist and the other on her knees, gradually carrying her away. As Li Luo carried Yang Lingqing out of the winehouse, numerous envious gazes were trained upon him. However, he did not possess their vile thoughts. He quickly flagged a carriage over and a then-certain lady then came out to receive them. This was something previously arranged by Yang Lingqing as she knew that she'd definitely go big before she went home. Li Luo carefully lifted Yang Lingqing into the carriage before informing the attendant, please take Vice President Yang home. The female attendant respectfully nodded and then proceeded to guide the carriage away. On the streets, Li Luo watched as the carriage was bathed by the numerous lights within the city. He stretched lazily as he recollected the conversation he had with Yang Lingqing, eventually smiling wryly. I guess I have to work harder. Although he didn't mind having Jiang Qing'e protect him, he couldn't be a stain on her reputation either, right? As he turned to leave, within the swiftly leaving carriage, the originally drunk Yang Lingqing suddenly opened her eyes. As she lazily lay within the carriage, she murmured to herself, not bad indeed. He clearly didn't try to take advantage of me. When I get back, I have to let Qing'e know that while her little husband is not very strong, he is definitely someone that this elder sister recognizes. When Li Luo woke up the next day, he could feel a pounding pain in his head. Feeling completely helpless, he made a mental note to reject any more drinking excursions with Yang Lingqing. After hastily cleaning up, he made his way to the front hall, where he spotted the charming and alluring elder sister Cai Wei waiting for him for breakfast. Li Luo gave an apologetic smile at this point. Did you have a few drinks with Yang Lingqing last night? Cai Wei grinned as she passed him a bowl of porridge. Li Luo nodded. Who would have expected elder sister Lingqing to drink so heroically? Lingqing truly is too much. You're just a child. Why did she take you out for drinks? Cai Wei chided. Upon hearing this, Li Luo felt dissatisfied. Elder sister Cai Wei, don't take advantage of my youth. Aren't you only a little older than me? You almost sound like my mom. Cai Wei glared at him before she praised, I heard of what happened at the Sun Creek Villa yesterday. You're not bad. You've finally reached a point where you can assist us in the bigger picture. I've also taken the opportunity to dispose of some of our more useless assets in the Jiangsu province. I've even provided a bargain for the Differ family and the Bei family. Ha ha ha. I heard that the Song family tried to discuss some new terms with the other two families, but to no avail. They stonewalled the Song family and said that this wasn't part of the deal. This has created friction and made it more difficult for them to reach a consensus when it comes to dealing with House Loulan. Now that we have gotten rid of some of these burdens, our coffers have been replenished and we should be able to complete your requested purchase smoothly soon. Li Luo was extremely excited. Elder sister Cai Wei, you're just too capable. Unlike elder sister Ling Qing, who can't drink but still gorges herself silly. Cai Wei's thick eyelashes flapped as she blinked in slight confusion. She can't drink. Li Luo nodded. She drank till she blacked out yesterday. I even had to carry her to her carriage. Elder sister Cai Wei had a playful expression on her face. My dumb little young lord. Yang Lingqing's alcohol capacity is incomprehensible. She could outdrink 10 of you and her face wouldn't even turn red. Upon hearing this, Li Luo was flabbergasted. You didn't have any unsavory thoughts about her, did you? Cai Wei said as she sized him up. If you did, she will never utter a single good word about you when she's with Qing'e. At this point, Li Luo quickly racked his brains as he tried to recollect what happened the previous night. It seemed as though he had not done anything untowards to her. Only upon this realization did he wipe his forehead free of cold sweat. He had almost been toyed with by Yang Lingqing. With a slightly awkward expression, he placed his bowl down. I'm heading to the academy. Turning away, he swiftly ran off as Cai Wei's melodious laughter echoed out, further increasing his sense of indignation and grief. These elder sisters were just too cunning, and Li Luo had been played like a fiddle. I'm truly just a child, like they say. When the indignant Li Luo finally arrived at the academy, he noticed that the previously ecstatic atmosphere had lessened significantly. In fact, some of the students even had looks of dismay on their faces. Evidently, the majority of them were those that had not done well in the previous day. However, there was no choice. Someone's happiness would come at the cost of someone's sadness. In a qualifying examination like the preliminaries, those who were not strong enough would naturally be eliminated. Brother Luo, you're here. Jiang Qing'e exclaimed when he saw Li Luo, immediately rushing up to him. Of your two battles today, one won't be as easy. You're against the first school's Loulan. Do you remember him? Loulan? Li Luo racked his brain before finally nodding in agreement. That fellow had a bit of fame within the first school, and his strength ranked amongst the top 20. It was said that he possessed a 6th-grade wind resonance that provided him with unparalleled speed. That guy is at the 7th seal stage and is significantly stronger than Bei Kun. Jiang Qing'e's expression became slightly grave at this point. 7th seal, huh? Li Luo puckered his lips. This would definitely be a troublesome opponent. However, Loulan should be within the threshold of those that he could beat. Hence, he patted Jiang Qing'e on the shoulder and smiled. Relax, I have faith in myself. Jiang Qing'e did not say anything in response as he knew Li Luo's personality. If Li Luo truly knew he had no chance of victory, he would not be putting up a brave front. Whilst the two were speaking, a student from second school came running over. Brother Luo, there is someone outside looking for you. Li Luo became a little apprehensive after hearing this but still headed out. Standing in the shade of a tree was an unruly-looking youth with a manet of hair that flapped around him. Li Luo instantly recognized this youth. It was his next opponent, Loulan. Are you looking for me? Li Luo smiled. Loulan swept away the hair covering his eyes before giving a deep look at Li Luo. Who would have expected that after so long, you would manage to rise again? You truly live up to your previous reputation as the man who once ruled Southwind Academy. Li Luo sighed before replying impatiently, don't speak such meaningless words. How is this meaningless? Loulan replied in dissatisfaction. In the end, Loulan stopped beating around the bush and got straight to the point. Song Yunfeng approached me, and he knew I was your upcoming opponent. He even offered a significant price for me to injure you with all my might. Li Luo was a little stunned upon hearing this before he laughed. Are you telling me your secrets? Or do you plan to take advantage of muddled waters? Che? Yu Lang, may be unrestrained, but I still have a bottom line. You once guided me in resonance arts, and I owe you for that, Yu Lang disdainfully replied. I am here to remind you that if you are not strong enough to be my opponent, then quickly give up for your own good. Of course, if you've hidden your newfound strength so deeply that even I will be beaten silly, if that's the case, then play along with me. I suppose you could heavily injure me and send me flying out of the stage. This way, I can even take a bit out of Song Yunfeng's compensation pool. Plus, that bastard is a foolish spendthrift. He's offered a huge sum after all. Oh, yes, that bit about compensation is just something extra I tacked onto the agreement with Song Yunfeng. I don't think we will have to go that far though. Li Luo, you might not be aware, but this Yu Lang in front of you is no longer the Yu Lang of the past who tripped over his baggy pants. Li Luo may have been slightly cunning, but he was almost shocked blind at the audacity of Yu Lang's grand plan. In the end, he could only helplessly reply, you truly are trouble, so I'm reporting you to the teachers. This chain of events completely caught Yu Lang by surprise. His jaw dropped while staring at Li Luo. What kind of bastard are you, Li Luo? Do you think it's easy for me to earn a little bit of money? How can you, a young master, know my pitiful troubles in life? Why would you make life difficult for me? He ferociously scolded. Scram, scram, scram. Li Luo frowned as he waved his hand to chase away this nuisance. It had been years since they last spoke, but he was still as strange as ever, with even stranger schemes. Yu Lang coldly snorted as he ruffled his hair and turned to leave. Li Luo continued to stare at him, making sure he was leaving before waving goodbye. Although this information wasn't that important, thank you nonetheless. Yu Lang paused upon hearing his comment, coldly snorting before leaving. Young people should always strive to do their best instead of resorting to these means. After Yu Lang left, Li Luo frowned slightly. Song Yunfeng's desire to fight had been getting more intense. All of this was due to his infatuation with Lu Qing'e, but also partly to do with the enmity between their families. I've been keeping a low profile, why are you still targeting me? The first round in the morning went by with no complications and there was nothing much to say. Before he knew it, it was already afternoon and time for Li Luo's match with Yu Lang. On the battle stage, Yu Lang's unruly manner floated with the wind as he coldly stared at Li Luo. Li Luo! It's your misfortune to be facing me. Meanwhile, the battle stage was surrounded by numerous audience members. Everyone was extremely interested in this particular fight as it was the first time Li Luo would have to face off against a strong opponent. Facing Yu Lang's theatrics directly, and in front of such a large crowd, caused Li Luo to feel a little embarrassed. He definitely did not want to get sucked into Yu Lang's circus show, as it would demonstrate he was no different from this fool. Thus, he quietly activated his resonant power, a pure blue aura gradually emitting from his entire body, flickering towards the sky. Even the audience nearby could literally feel the air becoming more humid with his presence. Following the administrator's order to begin, Yu Lang, who had been posing, immediately surged with explosive, green resonant power. One could hear the wind whistling and howling by as this resonant power was emitted. Suddenly, he flashed towards Li Luo like a bolt of lightning, so fast that even the onlookers could only catch a trace of his shadow. His burst of speed caused Li Luo's eyes to focus intently. Meanwhile, the audience was cheering endlessly as this was a sight to behold. Yu Lang's speed was clearly ferociously swift. Peng! In the blink of an eye, a fist shrouded in wind and wrapped with a green light struck at Li Luo like a bolt from the blue. Li Luo could only see a fist speedily increasing in size right in front of his eyes, almost completely blocking his vision. Yu Lang was clearly not going to hold back during this fight. Stumbling slightly, he responded with a calm, open palm instead, with blue resonant power gushing out directly, forming a massive, impenetrable wall of water. The wind-infused green fist struck squarely, and the impact caused the water wall to ripple intensely. Wow! A weird cry echoed out. Yang Lu's body flickered in response, and numerous after-images appeared as his speed increased. These after-images surrounded Li Luo, and each and every one of those fists and legs were wreathed with green light, howling with piercing wind as they attempted to drown Li Luo in a flurry of blows. This was a savage direct assault. Facing these berserk blows, Li Luo quickly adopted a defensive position as the layers of water around him deformed slightly due to the physical strikes, constantly warding off attacks towards his vitals. To the ones watching this battle, they all understood that Li Luo was planning to drag this into a battle of attrition. This was not surprising as water resonances tended to be more enduring and were better suited for it. The more the fight delayed, the clearer Li Luo's advantage would be. Li Luo is once again demonstrating his mastery of the 9-layered jade waves, some of the more astute students commented. The 9-layered jade waves had once been demonstrated by Li Luo on Baikuan, and it was perfectly designed for drawn-out battles. One would constantly accumulate greater amounts of power, building up towards a devastating blow that would frighten anyone. However, Yu Lang was significantly stronger than Baikuan, so it would not be such an easy task to ward off his tempestuous blows. Wow! Yu Lang exclaimed strangely once again. His index and middle fingers bent into a hook-like shape and suddenly pierced out with green light condensing on those fingertips. The green light was incomparably radiant, constantly pulsing with energy. Wind Finger. This finger attack that swept towards Li Luo like a tornado directly perforated the water wall that surrounded him and stabbed towards his chest like a bolt of lightning. Noticing that the opponent's move was blitzing towards him with incomparable might, Li Luo understood that he had nowhere to hide, so he took a deep breath of the moist air around him. Gentle Water Fist. Li Luo pushed a palm out that was shrouded with blue resonant power. Just as the two attacks were about to collide, his 5 fingers stretched outwards in a flicking motion, directly creating numerous waves within the sea of water resonant power that surrounded him. This created a huge water vortex in the space before him as a result. On the other hand, Yu Lang's wind finger's green light was gradually stripped away by the devastating grinding power of the water vortex, eventually getting completely entangled by this move. By the time the wind finger passed through the water vortex, the attack had been stripped of its fangs. Peng! The fist and finger then collided. Their resonant power clashing instantly, sending shockwaves rippling around the stage. Both Li Luo and Yu Lang had been struck directly by the aftershocks, and the two quickly retreated away from each other. Hua! Everyone burst into an uproar at this very sight. Shocked glances were directed towards Li Luo. He had actually managed to weaken Yu Lang's strongest offensive move into a generally harmless strike. Yu Lang was at the 7th seal stage. This was also wind resonance power, which was supposed to have an offensive edge over water resonance power. Li Luo's usage of his resonance art was just too mystical. He was able to utilize the gentle water fist to its greatest effect, dispelling Yu Lang's brute force move. How impressive! The gentle water fist is merely a middle-grade resonance art, yet it can perfectly counter Yu Lang's high-grade wind finger, said a member of the audience as he sighed in appreciation. Li Luo's resonant power is only at the 6th seal, which is definitely weaker than Yu Lang's. Yet he is able to persist in the fight for so long. The title of South Wind Academy's resonance art expert is not for show. Whilst the people were cheering, Yu Lang's mouth changed into a grin as he focused on Li Luo. This brat truly had hidden his strength deeply. He had not gained any advantage in their previous clashes, which went completely against his own expectations. This brat is truly quite abnormal. Yu Lang had even wanted to take things a little easy, but he had no right to do so. However, this was great. Only a fight like this would hold meaning. Yu Lang's eyes blazed with excitement as he proceeded to launch his next round of attacks. Green resonant power once again billowed out of him and he shot out like a bullet, taking his speed to the extreme. Just as he reached his maximum sprint, he suddenly realized that he had lost his sense of balance, and he mysteriously lost his footing and slipped. Yu Lang's expression was changing constantly from that of excitement, to surprise, to shock when he looked at his feet in the midst of falling. It seemed that at some point, his legs had been entangled by Li Luo's blue resonant power. This resonant power was like a water snake, coiling around both his legs. When he reached his peak speed, it caused him to lose his sense of balance. Yu Lang's pupils tightened when he realized what had happened. Li Luo, watching him lose his balance, let out a smile. Low-grade resonance art, water snake. You're too careless, Yu Lang. Ha ha. As Li Luo spoke, he took a step forward and chained that move with a double-palmed follow-up. Water resonance power cascaded out of him, a sight that reminded the audience of the waves of the sea. Although you're no longer tripping due to your baggy pants, things haven't changed. You're still going to fall, and it's because of my water snake. Finishing off his banter, he directly slammed his palms into Yu Lang's flying chest. F***ck me. Li Luo. You tricked me. Yu Lang screamed as he was sent flying away. Bang! Whilst he cursed, he was blasted away, eventually colliding with a wall outside the stage, causing a loud bang. At the moment he landed, a fountain of fresh blood spurted out of Yu Lang's mouth, almost 10 meters high. At the same time, copious amounts of fresh blood oozed out of every crevice on his robes, instantly causing him to turn into a bloody figure, a sight that truly horrified the audience. Li Luo, on the other hand, stood there in a slight daze, his lips twitching slightly. This was clearly going too far. Did the human body even have that much blood? A completely nonsensical sight. He hadn't even hit him that hard. Was this genius trying to swindle Song Yunfeng out of such a large sum that he could retire in peace? This video will end here.